Hey everyone, since I've been doing some music education correction videos and I plan on doing more in the future, and considering I get comments like this, well, I might want to prove that I actually know what I'm talking about. So instead of just doing corrections and poking holes in the traditional way of teaching music, how about I take an actual music theory test and show that, yeah, I know what I'm talking about, or maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. But today, we're going to find out. So the test I'm taking today is what music theory grade are you? This is hosted on mymusictheory.com. This is, as far as I can tell, one of the more predominant sites to see how you're doing in music theory. And this is based in the UK, so things are going to be a little bit different because I am based in the US. So we'll see what kind of questions there are. I actually have no idea what this is going to ask. So hopefully, well, I guess if this video is up, it's relevant to the type of analysis that I'm doing. So let's dive in and see what happens. All right. Okay. So we only got 24 questions, so this won't be too bad. And I'll actually try to explain as I go. So instead of just answering the questions and showing I know the answer, I'm going to try to talk through it and try to make this a little bit more educational and maybe entertaining. I don't know. We'll see. So one dot on the right-hand side of the note, like the example below, increases the note length by how much? So the dot, you add half. So for a dotted half note, you would add a quarter because a quarter is a half of a half note. So that's adding 50%. Adding 75% would actually be a double dot. So you add half and add half of the half. I don't know any signs for 33%. 25%, I believe, is a dot before the note. It might be, yeah, I think it's just a dot before the note. I've never actually seen it in practice. I've just heard about it. And then adding 10%, I don't know of any example of that. But for this question, we're looking for adding 50%. A chord figured with the number 6 below the bass line is in which position? So this is going back to 17th century theory and four-part writing and figured bass, which we don't use anymore. And I actually don't use it in my analysis because the inversions don't really mean anything, because we can actually do something more interesting with bass lines in terms of film music and modern music analysis that I do. But I do understand figure bass. So in this case, the 6 below the bass note would indicate first inversion. Root position would be 5-3. Second would be 6-4. Taking too long on that. Third inversion, that would actually be different. So I guess second inversion would be different if it's a 7th chord. But third inversion deals with a 7th chord, and that's a 4-2. But first inversion in this case. Question 3, click on the note which is the 4th degree of the scale F. So the 4th note of F is B flat. So we're looking for the B flat here. So C sharp would be a sharp 5, B natural would be a augmented 4th. I said sharp 5 for the C sharp, but that's augmented 5th as well if you want to go with that. Augmented unison or your augmented do or whatever for the F sharp. Everything else is within the key. Yep. So we're good on that one. Question 4. Which of the following were part of the Elizabethan era suite? What? Wow. This is something that I have not seen in a while, and I will make the argument this has nothing to do with any of the videos that I'm doing. The Elizabethan era suite. I have not seen this in a long time, and I'm not sure what it actually is referring to. So I will admit I do not know this at all whatsoever. I am going to take a guess, though, that mazurka, a jig, and a courant, maybe? Oh, maybe the mazurka is later. I don't know. I'm going to go with this. It's probably wrong, but we'll find out in the end. So there's one question that I don't know. Oh no, does that discredit me now? Which time signature means there are 4 half notes in each bar? So here's a big one. The big topic that I've done so far is taking apart time signatures and the problem with time signatures. But do I actually know what a time signature means? So this is a perfect definition of a time signature. There are 4 half notes in each bar. That's it. So that makes this really easy to figure out. So we're looking for 4 on the top number because that's signifying how many of the bottom are in each bar. So 4 half notes being a 2. So we're looking for 4, 2. Perfect definition of time signatures. Can't get that confused with anything. Okay, if the rhythm begins like this, which of the following is the correct way to end the rhythm? This is, again, another very, very silly way of teaching things. I remember this when I was first starting out in elementary school. I actually started in 3rd grade on trumpet, so I was about, 8 years old. And this was what we were taught. So if there is a pickup or an anacrusis to the first bar, so if we have a pickup measure, the rest of that is going to be at the end of the piece. No, that's not true. I don't know why this is a thing, because that doesn't happen in the real world. So the answer that they're looking for is choice 2, since that's got 2 beats, the quarter note pickup is our 3rd beat. No. I'm sure I can find an example, and probably in post I'll put something up. I can't think of one at the top of my head, but I could probably easily find something that's got a pickup and then the last bar is a complete measure. Ugh, but yeah, anyway, that's no, that's just stupid. Why are we teaching this? No. Get rid of it. Which of these bars shows the correct beaming grouping of notes for 6/8 time? So 6/8, typically you're going to look for groupings of 3 eighth notes or a dotted quarter note group beamings. So choice 1 is that. So we've got 3 eighth notes plus 3 eighth notes. Choice 2, we have an extra 16th in the first part, the first beaming. Choice 3 is grouped together by quarter notes, so that's wrong. And group 4, we have quarter, eighth, and then quarter. So that would be like a mixed meter type of situation. So yeah, in this case, the standard grouping for 6/8, again, standard, which means it's not always going to be this case. There are going to be times where we're going to have some kind of mixed meter, and it's possible choice 4 exists. I don't know of an example of 6/8 being done like that, but it's entirely possible. All right, the following bar contains what type of error? So this goes again back to 17th century 4-part writing. Without even looking at the choices, okay, here's the error. You probably can't see my mouse the way I've got the screen recording. But the middle 2 beats, we've got voice crossing, crossing parts, choice 2. There it is. So the tenor line, we have a DE against the alto's BC. And so that's the error. Here we got crossing parts. Consecutive fits would be just parallel fits. And then incorrect doubling would be like doubling the third, would be an example of that. I don't know what they mean by false relation, but I'm so far removed from this kind of stuff. Again, this is 17th century analysis. It's not important today. You know, I'm totally fine with it being a portion of a class, but I mean, this was, I believe Theory 2 was all this. And it's like, really a whole semester on 17th century analysis that you never use again, ever. Which is the correct missing note from this scale of the G sharp melodic minor? So the melodic minor, we are altering the pitches going up, so that for the melody, we want the leading tone up into the tonic is what this is referring to. So that means we need a half step below G sharp, and it has to be some kind of F. And in this case, it's going to be F double sharp. So they're doing a sharp scale to make things really tricky. But no, just take with this kind of question, if you're getting trouble on it, take your time and really think about it. And yeah, since I don't see G sharp all the time, I did have to think about it, but I went through that process. And so melodic minor, we've got the 7th note. So we need the 6th raised, we need the 7th raised. Tick or check all the statements which are true about ties in music. Oh boy. I'm just waiting for me to look at one of these and be like, okay, so this is wrong because X, Y, and Z. Slurs and ties are the same thing. I don't know why I just swapped those two, but ties and slurs are the same thing. No, they're not. They are absolutely not. Slur is between two different types of notes, and ties are between the same note. You can tie a G to a G sharp. No, again, slurs are between two different notes. Ties have to be the same note, so that's incorrect. Ties increase the value of a note by 50%. Not necessarily, it depends on what you're tying to. Dotted notes cannot be tied. Again, that's false. You can tie any length rhythm to another. You can tie notes of different time values. That is true. You can tie notes across a bar line. That is true. Question 11. Which of these is a correctly written 5/3 chord? So I just mentioned this a little bit earlier about the different inversions. So a 5/3 chord is root position, which means you have a root note and then a note that's a fifth and a third above. So that's where you easily construct a major chord that way. So we're just looking for something that's in root position. So the first chord here, we have C sharp E G. So that's not in root position. That's in first inversion. The second chord, we have a D minor chord that is in root position. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be choice 2. Choice 3, we have a G minor chord with the fifth in the bass. So that's incorrect. And choice 4, we have F major chord with the third in the bass. So it's going to be choice 2. And that's another thing that you can do is like notice some of them had the third in the bass, like more than one had the third in the bass. So you know those aren't correct. So that's an easy way to do an elimination of that. So what is the correct figure for this chord? So again, going with figure bass, something I don't use anymore because it's not relevant anymore. This is relevant for the era. But that's just such a small part of music history and music theory. But they really, really hammer it in for some weird reason. So what is the correct figure? The chord that we have here, we have F, A, D, C. Oh, so this is a D7 chord, I believe. So we have D, F, A, C, but the seventh is in the bass, so that's where we get a 4/2. I forgot what the full figured bass is, but it's actually like 4 numbers. Is it 6/4/2? I mean, I can easily find out. So yeah, 6. So the C to the A is the 6. The C to the D is the 2, and the C to the F is the 4. So there you go. It's a 6/4/2 is the full version of that figured bass. Use the clef to make this a major scale. So here we got C clefs. I know how to read C clefs, but I don't read them on a regular basis because I'm a horn player. So I read treble and bass all the time. But the C clefs, I don't. I see them so few, I actually don't know the difference between alto and tenor. Yeah, so that really shows you like how little I actually see alto and tenor clef. Yeah. I just know that the bottom two are C clef. So hopefully it's treble or bass so I can get through this fast. Otherwise, I'll show you how I know how to read C clefs and figure it out. So in treble clef, this would be an F flat going to a G. So that's an augmented second. So that's not in treble clef. In bass clef, this would be an A flat to a B. Again, augmented second. So that's not true. So we have to go to our C clefs. Yay. So the two C's meet on a line, and that line is middle C. So in this case, the fourth note would be our C, B, A, G. So we have G flat up to A. That, again, that's an augmented second, so that is not correct. And so then our other example, the fourth line is our C. So this would be E flat. So E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E flat. That is correct. So choice 4 is what we are looking for. Name this interval. So minor fifth doesn't exist. Major fifth does not exist. Diminished and augmented and perfect do. So a perfect fifth above C sharp. So in this kind of situation, we don't need the time signature. And what's really funny is it says 3/4 and shows 2 whole notes. Nice mistake there. You want to put this extra information to trick people up and then it ends up being wrong? Ooh. So it's not in 3/4 because you can't have a whole note in 3/4. But it's not important anyway for the interval. We also don't need the key signature, kind of. We don't need to know that this is F major or D minor. We just need to know that a B is flat. So if one of these notes is a B, then it'll be important. But we have a C sharp and a G, so yeah. So fifth above C sharp would be a G sharp, but this is a half step lower, so that means it's a diminished fifth. Augmented would be a half step raised, so that would be a G double sharp, and a perfect fifth would be a G sharp. Give the time name for this note. Oh my goodness. So this is actually really funny. I don't necessarily know what we call it in the US. It might be a double whole note. I think I've seen it once in context. It is so rare to see this thing, but I'm going to go with the British name. I am pretty sure that's a brev. At least I hope. Because it's so rare to see this thing. Let's see what's next. What does the time signature 3/2 mean? Oh boy, here I get to show problems with time signatures. So 3/2 means there's 3 half notes per measure. Let's see what our choices are. There are 3 half note beats per measure. Not necessarily. There are 2 dotted half note beats per measure. The correct answer is choice 3. Both of the answers are correct. They're throwing in the beats. No, in 3/2 you can have 2 dotted half note beats per bar. It's possible, and it would just be one of those situations where they do it to have like a mixed meter kind of a thing happening. But it's possible. This is the problem with time signatures. We teach it this way, and the answer that they're looking for is choice 1, but that's incorrect. That is not correct at all. And 3/2, it just means there's 3 half notes. Doesn't mean there's 3 half note beats. You can have 3/2 that's in 6. You can have 3/2 that's in 3. You can have 3/2 that's in 2. And that would be 2 dotted half note beats. That's the problem with time signatures. We cannot be teaching it this way. This is wrong. So again, they're looking for choice 1, but the answer is actually choice 3. Which of these terms describes music which is composed with a principal melody line played against an accompanying bass on chords? It's an interesting definition. So polyphonic, homophonic, contrapuntal, and symphonic. So that would be homophonic. Polyphonic would be multiple melodic lines. Watch me be wrong on this. This is like old terminology. I don't do a whole lot with classical music. Even as a horn player, I don't need to know this when I'm performing like a Mozart symphony or something like that. Contrapuntal, no, because that would be counterpoint, and you can't. No. Symphonic, no, because that's a bunch of different melody lines. So homophonic is one melodic line, polyphonic, multiple. But watch me be wrong on that. Oh boy, another one of these. And they throw in a bunch of sharps. It's like, oh, let's throw in the sharps to really screw you up. It just takes longer when you don't see these kinds of scales. So treble clef B sharp. So B sharp to C sharp, that's a half step, so that's not correct. I'm reading from right to left, by the way, because I don't think you could see my mouse. To go up the scale. So B sharp to C sharp is a half step, so that is not correct for a major or minor scale. In bass clef, we would have D sharp to E sharp would be correct, so this could be it. E sharp to F sharp would be correct. So it's a half step, whole step, up to G sharp, whole step, half. See, this is easier if you know the key signatures because then you could do this faster. But unfortunately, D sharp, you never see. So because I never see it, it's never like right there to know D sharp is, 9 sharps. Let's say with that. Say that. I don't think that's right. Wait, C would be 7, G would be 8, D would be 9. Oh, I got that right. So there you go, 9 sharps. But B natural. So actually, that makes it easier now that I think about it that way. So here you go. Here's a nice thought process. So it is 9 sharps. And to make it minor, we're going to take away 3 of those. So 9, 8, 7, 6. So we have 6 sharps, which means there's one note that is not sharp, which is going to be B. However, we have a C double sharp, which means this is now going to be a harmonic minor scale. So it just says A minor, doesn't specify which minor, but choice 2 is technically correct. Click on this scale of the E harmonic minor. So this is in treble clef, so I can get this pretty quickly. So E minor is 1 sharp, just F sharp. But we need harmonic, so we need F sharp and D sharp. So that is choice 4. And harmonically, choice 5 is correct. But when we're dealing with scales like this, the actual notes matter. We can't go with enharmonics. The key is B minor. What is this chord? So we have C sharp, A sharp, E. So this would actually be an A sharp is our root. So you want to put everything in as close as possible. So it would be A sharp, C sharp, E. And so that is going to be our 7. This is the only one that's the 7. So I'm not sure what the B means. I guess that's first inversion since this is got the 3rd in the bass, but it's the only one with the 7. So it's a 7 chord. Match the composers with the idioms they're most well known for. Oh boy. This is going to be fun because I haven't dealt with this in a while. Schoenberg is serial. Whole tone would be Debussy, most likely. The modes in nationalism. I believe Bartók was more of a nationalist composer, so Vaughan Williams would be with the modes. I don't know Vaughan Williams very well as a composer. I know the Thomas Tallis thing, and that's in a mode. So let's go with that. I bet you this is correct. I'm pretty confident. Which 2 keys are represented by this key signature? So can you read major and minor key signatures? So major, the trick is name the second to last flat. So this would be A flat major. And boom, that's choice 4. We're done. We don't even need to know the minor because that's confirmed the major. But how do we know that this is actually F minor? Add 3 sharps to it and you get 1 flat, which do you know your majors? So that's your trick for minors. You have to know your majors, but add 3 sharps to a minor key signature. That gets you the major version of what we're looking for. So that'd be F major. So this key signature is F minor. So choice 4 is correct. Oh, not another one of these. Come on. So this is going to actually, this is bass clef. Because I just quickly read it in treble and bass clef to try to make sense of a flat and a sharp next to each other. And you only get that in minors. And it's in harmonic minors. So yeah, this is the harmonic minor for G. So simple enough. Which of the following Roman numerals best describes this chord? So we have, what chord do we have? We've got a D7. So D, F, oh no, that's not right, I'm sorry. We got a G here. C, G, D, F. Oh, this helps looking at the choices. Oh man, this goes back to part writing and knowing like what you can eliminate. But again, going back to what I was doing before, talking about these are the intervals above. So since these are all 5 chords, we know that the C is going to be our bass based off of the key signature. So what is an 11th above C? And that's going to be an F. So we do have an F. And what is a 7 above C. That would be a B, which we do not have. So that's incorrect. 5/4. We have the fifth, we have the fourth, but we actually need something that signifies the extension. So we're probably, I think it's going to be an 11/9. Oh, there it is. Yeah, choice 4, 11/9. So that gives you those two. You need the fifth above. That's just a standard rule. So this would be an 11/9/5. 5 chord, I believe. And yeah, so that's that answer, and that's the end of the quiz. Let's see how I do. I'm going to guess I got 1, maybe 2 wrong. Let's see what happens. 96, which means I got 1 wrong. This one, the Elizabethan era suite, which I admitted I did not know. And so yeah, the Bure is part of it and the Mazurka is not. Cool. You don't see me analyzing these. You won't see me analyzing these and talking about this kind of stuff. So considering I missed 1 question off of a theory test and was able to explain everything going through, and I explained the time signature and I knew what question or what answer they were looking for, and I explained why it was wrong as well. So does this prove that I know music theory? Does this prove that I know what I'm talking about? Let me know down below. And if there's any other music theory tests you want to see me take and talk through like this, let me know that too. I'd be happy to take it. It'll be kind of interesting. I am a little bit nervous because I know there's gaps in my knowledge. However, I will be confident in what I know. But I think this proves that I at least have a general working knowledge. And the comment that said I need to go back and take more notes in basic theory, I think this proves that I don't need to take more notes, that I actually do know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I'm going to get back to some more videos, some more film soundtrack analysis, some more correction videos, and music education videos as well. So stay tuned for those. Let me know any other tests you want me to take, and let me know your thoughts down below. And of course, I will see you next time.